Okay, so today we're just getting more practice on rectangular prisms and finding the volume of them. So we're going to get started. When possible, I'm a very visual person and it helps me to see a picture. So we know these are all rectangular prisms on this front page. So I'm going to draw myself a picture. May not be to scale, but then I'm going to label it. So it tells me length is 7.2, length is 6.8. Width 4.5 and height is 7.2. Okay, so now we have it labeled. We're going to look at a volume of a prism, and that is volume equals big B times height. And we know that big B means area of the base. We know these are rectangles, so now look back at your formula chart. Area of a rectangle or a parallelogram is base times height, little b times height. So we're going to substitute that in for this b. And I'm going to actually call it length times width in this case. So this b is this length times width times height. Now we just plug in our numbers. Length 6.8, width 4.5, and height 7.2. Now it's just multiplying. We multiply 6.8 times 4.5 and then that answer by 7. Multiplying, I have to line up the decimals. You multiply like normal, and then at the end you count how many numbers are behind the decimal place in the problem, and then that is how many places you move the decimal over in your answer. So 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 4 is 34. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 6 is 24 plus 3 is 27. 4, 5, 6, 10. So the solution to that is 3060, but we're not finished. We have to count how many numbers we have behind the decimal places, and we have 2, so we're going to move our decimal over 2 places. So keep yourself organized, write what you're doing step by step, so then you can come back later and see what you did, and if you made a mistake, where you made the mistake. Now we multiply 30.6 times 7.2. Who do you need work for? I don't have her today.
Okay.
Thank you. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 times 6, 42. And 7 times 3 is 21. So now I count my decimal places. I have 2, 1, 2. So my answer is 22.32, but it tells us to round to the nearest hundred, or 22. As we talked about yesterday, volume is in units cubed, so it's cubic feet is your answer, is your solution. Okay, let's do the next one, and I want this one here, and I want you to pause it and work on it, and then come back and see if you have the correct solution. Okay, so hopefully you paused it, you tried to do it yourself. Now let's check our work. Drawing my figure, putting my numbers, length 8.1, width 5.9, and height 6.7. So again, volume is big B times height, which we're going to be length. Now we just substitute in our numbers. 8.1 times 5.9 times 6.7. Since you should have already done the multiplication, I'll tell you 8.1 times 5.9 is 47.79. If you did not get that, go back and check your work and see where you made your mistake. 47.79 times 6.7 is 3.193. In the directions, it tells us to calculate the volume and approximate our answer to the nearest hundredth, so we're supposed to round. This is our 100th place here. 3, you only round up. If this is 5 or greater, this is 3, so we just drop the 3. So our solution is 320.9 yards. Okay, so now we're going to, you need to do those, the rest of those on this page. We're going to move on to the back. And here we're supposed to solve for volume again. And so number 1 would be exactly like the ones we did on the front. Now, number 2, I want to do number 2 with you. I'm sure you're going to look at that and say, I don't know how to find the pentagon that's, you know, pentagram that is the base. Well, they give you the measurement, the area of the base here. So you can solve it. Volume is big B times height. They've already given us big B, 22 times our height is 5.3. So let's go over here. We have 22.7 times 5.3. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 3 times 6. 5 times 7 is 35. Carry our 3. 10. 11. Now just add them up. And we have 2 decimals up here behind, I mean 2 numbers behind our decimals up here, so we move our decimal place 2.2 places over. So volume for number 2 is 120.21. Now, if you notice, 7 also gives you the area of the base, so you would solve 7 like you solved 2. Now let's go to number 5. I don't know if we've seen one of these yet. This is a parallelogram. Look on your formula chart. It's still a prism. The formula for volume is the same. Volume equals big B times height, big B being the area of the base. The base on this one is a trapezoid. So look on your formula chart. Always refer to your formula chart for the area of a trapezoid. So we see the area of the trapezoid times. I like to write mine base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. Multiplying by 1/2 and dividing by 2 is the same thing. So we're going to go over here. We're going to substitute in the formula for the area of a trapezoid in for big B. So volume equals base 1 plus base 2 times height of the parallelogram of the prism. Now we're going to put in our numbers. Base 1 is 9. Base 2, which would be right here, is 5. The height of the parallelogram is 4 inches. This is the height of the prism. Remember, the height of a prism is from base to base. So parallelogram times 4 divided by 2, and once you solve this, then you multiply by the height of the prism. So 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 times 4 is 56. 56 divided by 2 is 28. We've been bringing the rest of our equation down. We still have our height of the prism to multiply it by. 28 times 10 is 280 cubic inches. So that is our answer for 5. And if you notice, 5 and 8 are solved the same way. Now I want to look down at the word problems a little bit. I know a lot of y'all look at these and y'all get overwhelmed. The first one is just a prism again. So it's length times width times height. Depth is height, long, where it says long is length, and of course wide is. So you're going to solve. And then once you get this answer, then you will multiply it by 7.8, and that gives you how many gallons it takes to fill the tub. 11 is just like that, and on 10 you're just finding the it gives you the area of the base. This is like number 7. So it gives you the area of the base, but you have to convert these centimeters to millimeters because these two measurements are different. Okay, on this one, yes, you have to do the puzzle. The puzzle helps you check your work, and because if you don't find your answer down in the bottom, then your work is incorrect. And the way you solve this one is you find an answer like number 2, 120.2. We're going to look down here. Actually, they rounded. Cross it out. Which other one did we find? Number 5, 180 inches cubed. I'm sorry, 280 cubic inches. And then after you finish all of these and cross all the answers out you found, then you write the answers down in order, the letters in the puzzle, and it answers your riddle. Hope this helps as much as you today, and bring it back on Monday. Thank you.